Hello guys and welcome to a Football Manager 2024 tactic test. It's my first of this iteration of the game and it is the tactic that I've been using in my main save in Bulgaria, which you can check out up here if you want to come and join me on my journey to build Bulgaria into hopefully the best nation in Europe. We are the manager of Biddin, and you can see here that we've reached the end of the second season using the tactic that I have been testing today. A little bit about the tactic: it's not one of my own, it is by a guy called JoshDaly. He has his own channel on YouTube, which I will link down below. I'll also link to the download on Sorted Out SI, so you guys can try it for yourself. But one thing I will say is in Football Manager there is no such thing as a plug and play tactic. You can use the tactic as a starting point, but you have to get the players to fill the positions, otherwise it just won't work. But in terms of how the season went for us here in Bulgaria, you can see that in terms of team stats, we scored a total of 86 goals across 34 games. Conceded 44 though, so we did concede a little bit too many for my liking. But in terms of yellow cards and red cards, pretty low, which is good. And moving then into the team stats as well for the season, you can see obviously we got the most points per game. We did finish top of the table at 2.21. Scored the most goals as well, only 9 clear of Maritsa in second place, which it's still pretty decent. We're still the top scorers. We had the most shots by quite a long distance in the league as well, so that we do have a lot of shots in the game. Few shots against, we're down in 5th position, but again, this is down to the players that you have. Obviously, I am a Biddin. We're not the greatest team in the world. We were predicted to finish around about 8th or 9th in the table. In terms of possession, we're up there as well. We've got 59% possession, which is pretty good for an average. But we are only 5th best in terms of goals conceded, with a total of 44 across the season. So that is something that could be improved upon, again, depending on the players that you've got to fit the tactic. In terms of the players themselves, it's been quite decent, and it's nice to see that the goals are spread out among a lot of the players. We've only got 2 who've made more than 10, but again, that is the level of football that we play at. If, for example, if you Man City, Haaland will get you loads of goals, Kane will get loads at Bayern Munich. We've got lots of assists as well. One thing I will say is that the attacking midfield role in this particular tactic does work extremely well. Whoever plays there does extremely well. We started off with Myung Se Jin at the start of the season, played 23 games, scored 12 goals and 10 assists. And then later on into the save, my son was born. I had a son. He played 8, scored 4 and assisted 1 at 15 years old. So that attacking midfield role does work really well in this current tactic. And then we're moving on to the data hub, again having a quick look over the statistics for the season. You can see goals per game. We scored 2.5 goals per game, which is an average of 1 more than the entire rest of the league, which is again really good. In terms of conceded per game though, it is 1.3, but as long as you're scoring more than you're conceding, there's no real issue. But we're still slightly lower than the league average. Again, shots on target, shots on goal, we average 18.3, which is 8 more on average than the rest of the league, which I think is absolutely fantastic. And then moving into the tactic itself. Now, as I said, I did not create this. This is from JoshDaly, and you can go and check it out yourself. But it's my test of that tactic. I wanted to show you guys who maybe don't know who Josh is, and you wanted to come and see me do it, or you're new here. And if you are new here, please remember to hit that like button for me, the subscribe button as well. It does really help me out massively. But into the tactic, there are 3 iterations of it. They're all pretty similar, depending on the opposition you're facing, really, whether you're the better team, whether it's fairly even, or if you're an underdog. There is a bit of an underdog story to it as well. It's basically, it's called the broken meta, and it is meta because it's a 4-2-3-1, which is the meta formation in probably world football, but especially in Football Manager. And it starts off with a sweeper keeper on support. Nothing fancy here, just a sweeper keeper on support. The 2 wing backs are both on automatic. Now, automatic works really well because the wing back himself gets to decide whether he wants to be defensive, supportive or attacking, depending on the situation that's happening on the pitch. So I do advise that you use automatic, and there's a couple of player instructions to go along with that. Again, the top one, the dribble more, is again depending on the player you've got. And if you've got one fullback who is particularly good at attacking, and he's got good dribbling attributes, I would select the dribble more. You can see that I don't actually have it selected on the left hand side. On the right hand side I do though. If you don't know how to do these instructions, you just click on the position that you want, you click on edit, and it brings up this whole new screen here where you can select different things, and that will stay individual to that position on the pitch. So the wing backs dribble more, run wide with ball. Obviously we want to send them to take the ball wide away from that centre of the pitch. It's the same on the other side. Again, the dribble more is dependent on the player that you have in that position. Two ball playing defenders on defend, no extra instructions there, it's just what it is with them. Into the midfield, we have a box-to-box midfielder on support. Pretty self-explanatory, box-to-box, it basically up and down the pitch. He also has run wide with ball, and that's because of the way that he will interact with this inside forward who is on support, and we'll see that in a minute when we get to the inside forward. But pretty basic. Alongside him is a ball-winning midfielder who is basically there to win the ball. He's not there to take any risks, to dribble the ball. He wins the ball, gives it off to a teammate, and we crack on up the other end of the pitch. Now, in terms of the inside forwards, we do have them both set to sit narrower, and that allows this box-to-box midfielder who is on run wide with ball. He can fill in that little bit of space there that this inside forward creates. Could possibly do it going that way as well. But yeah, the inside forwards sit narrow, so we basically create a 3 behind the striker, leaving the flanks open, which the wing backs can exploit if they want to. In the middle, we've got a trequartista, not something I use very often. Basically, a trequartista is the same as an advanced playmaker, but they have less defensive responsibilities. They'll basically sit in that part of the pitch and just like Messi does. You see Messi when he's playing football, he walks around a lot. He just walks and walks. He doesn't do much defensive work. He just walks about, filling in little bits of space, waiting for the ball to come. And that is basically what the trequartista does. And as we've seen from the player stats, it works quite well. They get a lot of goals and a lot of assists from that position. But no extra instructions there. And then up top, we do have an advanced forward. Again, there's no extra instructions there. Pretty self-explanatory. An advanced forward, he's there to do what he does. So that's the basic one. I have all of these set on to positive, by the way, guys, all 3 of them. But in terms of the in possession instructions, leave the attacking width as it is. It says fairly wide here, but that's because we've got these fullbacks going wide with the ball and the box-to-box midfielder. But just leave it bang in the middle. We do play out of defence. It seems to be, again, the meta in football for today is to play out of defence. You know, everybody does it now. Slightly shorter passing, not much shorter, slightly shorter. Again, just trying to build some possession with a slightly higher tempo as well, and be more expressive. Leave it on mixed crosses. We do like mixed crosses, wide variety of crosses coming into the box. In transition, this is pretty standard for any Football Manager tactic. Counter press, counter, take short kicks and distribute to your defensive line. Standard Football Manager tactic. In terms of out of possession, we are looking for our attacking line to engage quite high up the pitch, an attacking high press. We've also got the defensive line playing higher. We're looking to trigger the press more often, not much more often, so we don't want to tire our players out, but more often. Prevent short goalkeeper distribution. Again, pretty standard stuff. So that's the basic tactic. That is the one that you'll use depending on your team. Say, for example, you're a mid-table Premier League team. I don't know, like a West Ham or a Brentford. You probably use that one 80% of the time, depending on who you're playing. Again, like I say, we were a mid-table team really in this division. And this is the one that I've used most of the season. Now, there is an attacking variant of it as well. I don't know why it's got copied. There is an attacking variant of it as well. And it is slightly different, ever so slightly different in terms of the instructions and the player roles as well. Sweeper keeper is exactly the same. That's fine. Wing backs, again, are on automatic. These two are set up exactly the same, as are the ball-playing defenders. So the back 5 remains the same. We move away from the ball-win midfielder, though, onto a centre mid on support, and he has to take more risks. Again, we're looking to just get at teams here. So the centre mid, supportive still, yes, but he will take more risks. Box to box, he's got get further forward and move into channels, as well as his run wide with ball. So he will look to get further forward, and he will look to support this advanced forward, who is also obviously standard set to run into channels. So you're effectively making your attacking line a 2 there. We swap the inside forwards to attack as opposed to support. We also have them on shoot more often. Now again, this depends on your players. You do need your inside forwards to have good finishing attribute. I would say at least a 12, 13 for them to have shoot more often. If they're lower than that, take the shoot more often off. You just click on the edit button and you remove shoot more often. Just take it off if their finishing is not great. That's the same for both sides. Again, shoot more often, sit narrow, so they'll condense that middle of the pitch. The trequartista, again, exactly the same. Trek on attack, and the advanced forward, again, pretty bog standard. Nothing additional there. So that's, again, that is if it's a game that you should be winning comfortably, I would go for that one. I would just go for the kill, basically. That is the deal with that one. And looking at the in possession instructions for the attacking role, again, leave the attacking width in the middle. Play out of defence, but this time we have overlap left and overlap right. We're looking for those wing backs to move up the pitch. You know, take the space that the inside forwards have left where they're on, sit narrower. Again, we have shorter passing, slightly higher tempo, and be more expressive. That's really the only change on this screen, is the overlap left and overlap right. This screen is exactly the same, except we've gone for distribute quickly. We're looking to get up the pitch as fast as possible this time. Still counter press, distribute to the defensive line. Out of possession though, we are going for a high press again, but we're going for a much higher defensive line. We're looking to box the opposition into their half of the pitch. You do need to be careful for the offside trap though. If you're coming up against a pacey striker and your defenders aren't the quickest, a simple ball over the top and they're in behind you really. And we're also going for get stuck in. We want to win that ball back as quickly as possible while we're still at the other end of the pitch. Again, trigger press more often to prevent short goalkeeper distribution. So that leads us on to the defensive tactic. Now this one is one that you would play if you're again, we'll use West Ham as an example. If you're coming up against Man City, Arsenal, a game that you're not really expected to win, you would maybe do this one a bit more. Man City's maybe a bit of a stretch, but a team that you're not expected to beat. And the idea of this one is to keep it compact, keep hold of the ball, make the opposition run around after the ball, wear themselves out, and then sort of 70 minutes into the game, if you're still within touching distance, you switch over to one of the other two. You either go a bit more balanced, or you go straight for the jugular, basically. You warn them out, you get at them. That's the idea of this one. Again, it uses a sweep keeper on support, no additional instructions there. In terms of the wing backs, we are on run wide with ball again, so we have dropped the dribble more off both of them now. We don't want them to dribble with the ball, we want them to play short passes to a teammate. Ball playing defenders, again, exactly the same. No changes there. Box to box on support, we've moved away from the run with ball and move wide, stuff like that. We've just gone for a pass it shorter. Again, if you go into the instructions, just click on shorter passing. That will put that one in there. And we're back to the ball with midfielder, but we're on defend this time instead of support. And again, we're on pass it shorter. Like I say, the idea is to keep a hold of the ball, wear your opposition down, make them chase the ball. Inside forwards on support, back onto support again with pass it shorter, sit narrower. That's pretty standard. That's the same for both sides. And then we have the advanced playmaker, moving away from the trequartista, a little bit more defensive responsibilities, but again, pass it shorter, and we do expect them to keep hold of the ball as well and hold it up. And it's the same for the advanced forward. Again, we're on pass it shorter, and like I say, the idea is to wear the opposition down, make them run around after you with the ball. Again, we're on positive. I've got positive set on all three. And in terms of the in possession instructions, again, fairly wide, down, basically down the middle. Don't touch that one. Dribble less, because we don't want to be dribbling with the ball. Like I say, we want to pass it. So we've gone for much shorter passing, and we've lowered the tempo back down to standard. Play out of defence, everything else pretty self-explanatory. Again, we're counter pressing. We do want to get the ball back as quickly as possible, but we're not looking to counter this time. We're looking to just regain possession, keep the ball, short passes, make the opposition chase you. So we've taken counter off this one, and we've put on slow down pace as well. And then in possession, we're on a high press still, again looking to win that ball back high up the pitch, move back to a more standard defensive line, and again we're still looking to trigger that press as much as possible. So there it is, guys. There is the first tactic video for me for FM24. As I've said, it's not mine, it's JoshDaly's. I just wanted to test it out and bring it to you guys who watch me over Josh. I will leave the link to the tactic and his video down in the description though, guys, so that you can have a look at it yourself. Maybe go and have a look at his video. He'll explain it much better than me. But I wanted to get it out there. So 3 tactics: the broken meta 4-2-3-1 for different situations depending on who you play with. But like I say, guys, again, these are not plug and play. They'll get you so far, but you still have to find the players yourself to fit each of the roles that work quite well with that role. So go and have a download of it and let me know what you think. And yeah, leave me something in the comments if you're getting good results with it. Let me know how you get on with this tactic in your saves. But that is going to be it for today, guys. We're going to wrap that up there. Thank you for watching. Please do, if you like the video though, remember to leave me a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button as well if you want to see any more tactic videos throughout FM24. I do plan on doing a few more. I think I only did 2 for the entirety of FM23. I want to do more for FM24 though, so I will be. But that is going to be it for today though, guys. Let me know how you get on, and I'll see you next time. So cheers, guys.